Hey, we're going to try and get some work done today, even though it's cold, quite cold. It's 7 degrees outside right now, though it's the sun shining. I figure it's probably about 9 in here, so, try and get something done today just because it's Saturday and that's what you do. So if you recall, last time I was putting conduit through from the back, I've now brought it up and stubbed it up with a 45-degree adapter. I now have to feed the heavy-duty cables through, and if I had done any decent planning, of course, I would have put the cables in before I installed the conduit. As it is now, I'm going to have to try to fish it through with a fish tape, which is my least favorite thing to do in a house, and literally, I mean, I'd rather replace a toilet than fish wires through walls, but here I am, so I'm going to try and fish this tape through till it emerges, tie it to the heavy-duty cables, and then pull them on through. So let's see how that goes. It's hanging up in the last bend on the other end, of course. I'm wondering if I should feed from the other end. Oh, wait. Come on. Come on. Put some twist on there. Oh, jeez. It came up. Well, while I was trying to feed it, pull it through, the hook on the end of the fish tape broke off. So we start again. Well, after much messing around and with the help of my young apprentice, we got all the way through here, and we got her around there. You see it poking out of the hole there in the ground, in the floor? Maybe not. Let's change the exposure. Come on. I can't get the exposure to come up. There it is. There it is. The wire is run through the conduit, so we're good for today. I'm freezing. My hands are falling off, so we're done for now. So at this point, I've got the throttle controller attached to the firewall here, and then the control cable swoops around and goes on into the pedal. And guess what? There's too much friction in there. It is not going to, it doesn't move back and forth freely, even with a stronger spring. So I need to find a way to mount that thing so there's a good straight pull in the cable, no internal friction to speak of, and everything. So that's what today's project is. I'm going to create a mounting point that's a straight pull from where the cable exits the firewall and mount it up there so that it moves freely in the future. So what we have here is a newly installed aluminum strut from the firewall to whatever this plastic shroud thing is that the radiator used to attach to. I've moved the throttle controller down there, and we got a nice straight pull, and it does in fact return all the way back. Did still have to use an additional spring, which I'd like to delete, and frankly I'm not happy about the fact it's in close proximity to the house power battery, but we'll refine over time. This is going to be trial and error until it's and all the bugs are worked out. And right now, I press the pedal, it should go. So, well, once it's hooked up to the motor controller, which is Gonna happen soon. It's missing now, but there's the wires. That's it for today. So today's an odds and ends day. I'm putting an orange cover on the high power cables. Everything's got to be orange so that emergency personnel and mechanics know, don't touch this. Could be hot, could be lethal. So yeah, I got some of this flexible wire loom stuff. It was black. Got it at the local auto parts store. Got some Rust-Oleum that supposedly works on plastic too, and painted it this week. And of course, it's just flaking off like crazy. So I'll have to replace it down the road. But for now, it's orange, mostly orange. It should be a nicely visible warning till I get around to it. And there you go. I also have the stuff coming up here out of the floor. I got the orange cable on there. I also, well, of course you can't see it because I've got the exposure wrong again. There's some old heavy-duty rubber inner tube wrapped around it on the outside of that, and it feeds down in the hole. So that's additional insulation and protection against abrasion. So that should work nicely. I'm going to feed that up through underneath the seat here and into the trunk, and then I'll show you the results in a little while. Okay, so now you can see cables come up. They're protected first by the orange stuff, then they're wrapped with the inner tube to keep it from galling. They've been attached with ties that go down, and then it feeds up through between the seat and the wall, comes up in the trunk. Those will have to be lengthened, bring them to the contactor box, unfortunately, but this is very, very thick wire and quite expensive. I bought 10-foot lengths and they just are just a little short, so I will unfortunately have to add about a foot to each one, but away we go. I'm going to put the seat back in now after cleaning out some of that filth that's underneath it, and move on to the next thing. All right, so now you can see the white pipe is secured with plumbing strap. That's glassy. The cables are protected, and then they're attached as well with those rubber line clamps. So everything is secured and tight. This black wire that I ran at the same time, one pair is going to run back and turn on the contactor box when I turn over the key. The other pair is going to bring signal forward because I'm going to put in LED lights, indicator lights that tell me when the contactors are on. I'll have a set out here in the engine bay, so if the red light is shining, people will know, oops, that circuit's hot. And of course, there will be some nice ones in the dash inside the car. So that's a project for another day, though. So part of the cleanup process today, more odds and ends, is fixing stuff like this. Maybe I'm just an old fart, but I can't comprehend how anybody could own a car and drive around in it all the time and not fix that. It would drive me up the wall. I mean, what's the deal? Anyways, I'm going to glue this and then it won't bother me anymore. But, it's just incomprehensible to me how people will just have some little goo-gaw broken and just never do a thing about it when it doesn't require a lot of effort. I see another one here. I got this kick panel here that's loose. I'm gonna have to fix that. You can bet your bippy I will. But there you go, enough of a rant for that minor stuff. So now I'm working on some other odds and ends. I'm gonna wire up the contactor box in the trunk. I got that piece of line run back into the white thing. I've even got it inside of a nice piece of conduit, because that's a fairly crucial 12-volt circuit. If that doesn't work, if that gets abraded or cut or whatever, I can't start the motor. So I'm going to tie it in here to this power block here that also feeds the power steering pump. because I know that's on switched power and I can find it easily. I've taken the end of the wire here and twisted it into a little eyelet, and then I soldered it up. It's like a poor man's eyelet, join, whatever. I don't have to crimp anything on there or spend any money or anything. I just twisted her up, soldered it up, and they work great. It's cheap and it's effective. So I'm going to get this hooked up, and then we'll see if I can make the contactor box sing. So here's the contactor box. It's now wired up to the run that goes all the way forward and is tied into the main thing. When the key is turned, you should hear 2 clacks. The pre-charge, oh, there's the first one, and then a second one. What? And there's the second one. So what we have is, if this was hooked to batteries, and this was hooked to the main cables that run forward, the motor would have full power. So this is ready.